Alright guys, so this was a fanfiction idea that was voted on over on my Patreon, and it kinda won by a big number. I just needed time to actually put out this video. So yes, this is a three-way crossover between Tremors, Red Dead Redemption, and Jonah Hex. So I'd like to thank everyone who voted on the poll, and as always, if you guys like to be part of those polls, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, and hit the first tier. That'll allow you access to the polls, as well as, you know, the movie reviews and episode reviews I've been doing on Star Wars The Acolyte. But anyway, hope you all enjoy this, and let's get started with the video. So the story actually begins and is actually set before the events of Red Dead Redemption 2. So the story basically is that the Vanderlyn gang has been out running around, shooting and stealing money, and now they've moved west. They've basically moved into the far west and are now in the Nevada territories. They've basically hit up a bank recently in a small town and killed two lawmen in the process. So they're on the run. They've had to set up for a camp further out north in the Nevada territories, and near a town, a little old town called Perfection. So basically, they're like, well, it's hot as hell, but you know the law won't find us out here. No one's gonna find us out here in Perfection. And Arthur's like, Perfection? Only thing perfect around here is the goddamn sun. He's like, that ain't the definition of... And Dutch is like, that ain't the definition of perfect, son. That's the opposite of perfect. Well, I don't care. It's fucking hot. So basically, they're all like, well, for the time we're here, let's just, you know, be nice with the small locals. And they're like, this is a small town, like smaller than most towns we've been to. Like, we could and even like Bill Williamson is like, hell, we could probably just run hell, Dutch, we could run the town. Forget going, going to Tahiti or something like that. We could just run this damn town ourselves. And Dutch is like, no, that ain't the plan. So, just be nice, everybody. Let's just be on our best behavior, boys and girls. So Arthur and some of the guys go down there. They go to Perfection, and they're just kind of getting the lay of the land and, learning about the town and all that. And they're all having a few drinks, and that's when, like, it's a cold night. It's now night, and there's a unnaturally cold wind that blows in. And in the saloon, the doors fly open, and basically a tall figure comes striding in. His hat's down. They can't see his face, but everyone's like aghast of those who can see his face. Even some of the people in the town like take off and run. So essentially, the man sits down. And that's, like, he's still got, his face is still blocked by the hat, and Arthur's like, no, who the hell are you, good sir? And he goes, the better question is, who are you? The man turns to show his full face, and he goes, my name's Jonah. And that's when Arthur's like, oh, fuck, that's Jonah Hex. Yeah, Jonah Hex has a, massive he has quite the following, and not, well, following's the wrong word. I would say, like, he's infamously known. He is like the boogeyman when it comes to bounty hunters, and Arthur's just like, well, shit. I had thought, goddamn, I never thought I'd meet the Jonah Hex in person. And he goes, a lot of people would not agree with you, sir. And Arthur asks, can I help? Why, are you just passing through, Mr. Hex? And he goes, kind of. I'm looking for some people. I'm on a job. And Arthur's like, Really? You're on a job? Okay. What's the job? He's already he's like trying to reach for his gun, and Jonah goes, I'm looking for a man named Dutch Vanderlyn and his gang. You wouldn't happen to know anything, would you? He goes, well, afraid I don't, good sir. But tell you what, I'll pay for that drink and we can go on. We can have a nice old night. And Jonah's like, yeah, it'd be nice if you kept your hand away from your gun. Because these are like what Arthur didn't see was that Jonah already had it whipped out, and he's holding his beer one hand, the gun under his arm with the other, and he's like, "You must be Mr. Morgan, right? Nice to meet you." And Jonah's like, "Let me tell you what. We can do this in here. We can do this out there. Doesn't make any difference to me. I still get paid either way. I just get, the Pinkertons are gonna pay me a little less for your corpse. I'd prefer to bring you in alive, Mr. Morgan. And if you tell me where Dutch is, I'll pretend. I'll give you a 24-hour head. I'll give you a 24-hour head start before I come looking for you. They want Dutch more than they want you anyway." And he's like, and Arthur's like, "Well, I ain't giving up Dutch, so you're gonna have to eat. You're gonna have to leave, or one of us is walking out that bar." He's like, and here it is. So Jonah and Arthur get into a fist fight, and they're just tearing up the saloon, shooting at each other, going at each other, and then the place starts to shake, and they're like, "Is that a fucking earthquake?" No, a fucking graboid comes bursting through, and they're like, "Holy shit!" Jonah is not affected that much, even though it does take him by surprise. He's just like, Arthur even has this moment of like, "You don't seem that perplexed that a giant fucking worm just busted out of the ground." And he's like, "I've seen weirder, and I've been to weirder places." So they end up, turning their guns on the graboid. It goes back under, but they do hear outside that they're they hear Arthur hears Isaiah and Lenny shouting like, "Holy fucking shit!" And yeah, sure enough, there's two more graboids busting out, and actually one of them grabs Isaiah's horses and pulls it under, and they're like, "Holy fuck! What are these? What are these damn worms? Get off the ground!" They're like shouting, "Get off the ground, Arthur!" So Arthur and Jonah climb onto like a water tower, and they're like, they already see that. What they notice is that the rest of the town has done the same. Like they have already climbed up, and were already like they had their guns out and everything and firearms, and they're like, "Stay off the ground! Don't make too much noise." And they're like, "Is it?" And Jonah even points out like they are it seems like they already seem to know what to do in these situations. And and Arthur's like, so that means the worms have been here before. And he calls out, "All right, listen up. My friends and I want to know what the hell those damn worms are. And someone better start talking or I'm going to start shooting." And that's when they get a reply from, one of the other people from across the building, and he's like, "Yes, we call them graboids." And they're like, "Graboids? You run into these before?" And he's like, "Yes, my name's Hiram Gummer. I ran into these creatures about a year ago. We thought we killed them all, but it turns out that my guess is that these three seem to be the last of their kind. So be best if we could take them out before they could propagate further." And they're like, "Well, how the hell did you kill them before?" And he's like, "With dynamite." And Jonah's like, "Cool. Anyone got any dynamite? Has anyone got any dynamite?" And he's like, "It doesn't help. You need to lure them out first with sound." And he's like, "Well, anyone got any ideas? Anyone got some dynamite or plans to get these three out of the ground?" And that's when Arthur's like, "I got an idea," and he just fucking pushes Jonah off of the water tower, and Jonah just lands on his back, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking kill him." Because remember, this isn't like the Arthur that comes to become a good man at the end. This is still like bad man Arthur. Remember that. So Jonah, like, he's fucked up his ankle, and of course he's on the ground, and the graboid, like, comes up next to him and, like, tries to grab him. It grabs Jonah, pulls him underground while Jonah's, like, firing into it. But it pulls him underground, and Arthur's like, well, it takes care of one problem. But then, in a bit, the tremor the graboid comes busting out of the ground and screaming in pain as Jonah, like, has his tomahawk just chopping his way out of the creature's stomach and pulling himself out. And he looks up at Arthur and he's like, when I get up there, you better hope the other two try to kill me. And he's like, I knew you could do it. I had total faith in you, Hex. So, and the rest of the town's like, one down, one to go, but they do learn from their mistakes. And sure enough, that's what the other two graboids are doing. They start, like, pulling the support beams from underneath the buildings, and are, like, sinking into the town. Lenny and Hosea, excuse me, I meant to say Hosea. Lenny and Hosea are basically, like, trying to stay on the roof they're in as the two graboids are trying to pull them under, and Arthur's like, hang on, Lenny! Hosea, I'm on my way. So Arthur has to, like, jump from building to building, while Jonah is also, like, climbing up the building. Jonah's the one who, Hex is the one who saves both of them, and he's like, don't get it twisted. I needed you both alive. You're still, like, needed bounty for me. So they Hiram Gummer, like, calls out, is like, gentlemen, if you four can get to my house, which is not too far from there, I have munitions there that could kill the other two worms. And they're like, cool. So they have to, like, hop from like on top of barrels and basically, like, not touch the ground while the other two graboids start, like, trying to focus on the other buildings. From there, they do get into Hiram's house, and they find, like in his, like, shed, they find, like, a big Gatling gun, and Arthur's just like, I want that one. So, and they also find dynamite. And from there, basically, the four of them mount up with weapons, and actually, like, Jonah actually, like, they basically split the graboids up. Jonah takes one, Lenny, Hosea, and Arthur, like, take the other one. They're basically, like, Lenny and Hosea are, like, pulling this cart while it's chasing him, and Arthur's on the minigun, on the Gatling gun, just firing away whenever it tries to pull itself out of the ground and attack them. He's just like, smile, you son of a bitch, and just starts pumping it full of lead. Meanwhile, Jonah is being chased by the other on horseback, and he's just kind of, like, using dynamite to fling. He's not throwing it at the creature exactly. He's just trying to keep it agitated and focused on him. And he basically, like, uses it on horse. He leads it towards a cliff, and he's like, "Can you fly, you sucker?" And moves out of the way just as the graboid tries to jump at him and falls to its death off a cliff, killing it. By the end of it, the town is just all fucked up, and everyone's just, like, laughing, have a good time, and then Jonah, like, just whips out guns. Arthur and Lenny and Hosea all draw weapons, and they're all just kind of, like, in a harsh standoff, and that's when Hiram goes, "Gentlemen, if I may, we've had enough bloodshed and horrible violence. Perhaps we let bygones be bygones for the day." And Jonah's like, "Yep, I'll just pretend I didn't see you. I got other bigger bounties that I can focus on. You boys have a nice day." Just gets on his horse and leaves. And Hosea is just like, what the hell are we going to tell Dutch? And Arthur's just like, "Tell him the truth. Tell him we got attacked by damn worms." He's like, "Dutch is not going to believe that." He's like, Well, you spill him in the yard. Maybe you tell him we got attacked. We met Jonah Hex, got attacked by worms. He's heard crazier. He's like, he'll think we're drunk. Hosea, we are drunk. So, there you go, guys. That is the end of the story. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone who voted on Patreon for this story, and if you guys would like to be part of the polls over on Patreon, as well as check out episode and movie reviews, just hit the link below, head on to my Patreon, hit the first tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.